Hey, in this YouTube video I'm going to go over functions and formulas in Salesforce. So on like the leads tab in Salesforce, each of these different fields, they have a particular record associated with them. So if I select like don't care, for example, this is like the record detail page that has all of the information associated with it. And in addition to like going over formulas, so let me just go back to the leads tab, like the actual page. So I'm going to do like all these different calculations with like dates and times and checkboxes and all these other things. I'm also going to go over like kind of relationships between the tabs. Like in the first Salesforce for Dummies Part 1 video that I made on my YouTube, I went over how accounts can have other accounts a part of them. So if I go to my accounts, for example, like account 1, the parent account is account 2, and if I click up here and go to account hierarchy, account 2 is a parent account to account 1 and account 3. So accounts could be parents to other accounts. So in this relationship, account 2 is the 1, and then it has many accounts associated with it, similar to how a teacher could teach multiple classes. But this will make more sense later on. But also the contacts on here, they can have more accounts. They could be associated to an account. And also I'm going to actually change this relationship. At first, when you start up Salesforce, the relationship is each contact has a single account, and each account can have many contacts. So it's initially a one-to-many relationship. The account can have many contacts, and each contact can only have one account. But I adjusted so that it ends up being that each contact actually has multiple accounts. And yeah, so I actually set that up later on. So now I have like related accounts down here instead of the accounts. So it'll be a many-to-many relationship after, which I'll show you how to do. So initially, like over here on the accounts page, when you go over here, if you go to an account, you click on contacts, it'll just have contacts here, but I set it up so it actually has related contacts, and there are many contacts related here. And then when you go to the contacts, I have it set up so you could have many related accounts now, so it's many-to-many. So I could relate it to account 2, account 1. I'll click save. So now it's BBB is related to account 2 also. So now if I go to my accounts, I'll make this my pin view. Now for contacts, like BBB is related to it also. And yeah, so I'll go over how to make it a many-to-many relationship instead of a one-to-many with an account having many contacts. Now it's contacts can have many accounts, and accounts can have many contacts. So now I'm just going to go over like formulas and stuff instead of table lookups and related tables. So I'm just going to go over formulas first. So go to setup, which you can only access if you're an administrator, and if you have administrator profile settings. So I mean, if you're unsure if you have administrator profile settings, I don't really care. I'll go over that in another video, because I'm just going to assume you're an administrator because I'm working on the Salesforce trial. So I'm just going to go over formulas now. So if you go up here, click Object Manager. In the home, in the quick find, you could also search Object Manager, but it's quicker if you actually just click here. And now you're going to just select whichever page you're going to work on. I'm going to work with the leads page because I want to work with the leads page. So basically, like I'm working with the leads tab, and I'm going to select field and relationships, which lets you create fields or columns with so many different things that I'm going to review just by pressing new. So here are all the different selections on here, and I'm just going to review each of them. So Autonumber, if you press next, it says it's a system generated. You could read that, but I'm going to just explain what it is. So right up here, you basically just name it. I'll just name it as Auto. And so the display format, you could click here and it'll actually show you what is this. So if you just scroll down here, if you just like copy this here and you paste the display format here, what this means is it'll auto generate the year as 2020, which is today, and then it'll put in the month, which is 12, and then it'll put in a random digit. And for the starting number, say if I put like 40 here, it'll put 40 as the starting number for the Autonumber. And so basically when you create the Autonumber, the Autonumber is a column that is completely unique. It doesn't have any other duplicates, and it also counts up after you select a starting number. So the first Autonumber here would be 2020-12 hyphen, because there's a hyphen right here, and then it'll be 40 if I put like 40 as a starting number here. And then the next record I add will be 41, and then the next record will be 42, with this as like the starting input mask kind of thing. It's just like a stand-in. It doesn't move at all, and it'll just be based on the day. And when you make the Autonumber field, it actually only gets applied to, and it only generates an Autonumber for any new records after you create the Autonumber field. So I mean, if you understand table relationships and primary keys, the Autonumber field is a very useful key. If you watch my Access Missing Manual video 1 and video 2, you can learn more about table relationships. But basically all table relationships have a primary key, and the primary key is unique, and it associates with a foreign key from a table, a related table, and the foreign key in the related table that is associated with the primary unique key. The foreign key it can contain duplicates, and it matches the values within the primary key. So the one table could be like teachers, and each of the teachers are unique, obviously, and there's a single teacher record for each of the teachers, and they are the primary key is the teacher. And you could use an Autonumber to associate each of the teachers. And then also you could have like a classes table with a class ID, and the class ID will be associated with the teacher ID, and they match based on like the Autonumber. And each teacher can teach multiple classes, so the teacher can appear on the classes multiple times. And basically you could have one teacher teaches English and math, so on the teachers table it'll just be a single teacher, but on the classes table that teacher will appear multiple times. And you would basically use an Autonumber and create like an index that would match between the two tables. And in Salesforce, when you create a Autonumber field, it basically counts up after you create it. So I'm going to just show this Autonumber field. It's called NEMS, yeah. And this is field level visibility, so you can make it visible to everyone. And system administrator and all the different user types. Press next, and this is where it's going to be. It's going to be on the lead tab. So I click save, and I'm just going to click refresh on the leads tab. And over here on select fields to display under the gear, I'm just going to remove some of these fields that I was working with from before. So now I'm going to go to, what was it? That's the field I just created. So I'm just going to update my view, And see, obviously it's all blank currently because it doesn't apply to all the other fields unless you click generate to prior created fields. So now when I create a new record and I fill out the required columns and then I click save, it'll actually auto generate a record. I go to created date, so it auto generates so it did 2012 and then hyphen and 40. The next one, obviously, let me do another record. So now I did another record, now it's 41, so it just keeps counting up, and then it uses obviously today's date to generate like the beginning of it, so it kind of creates a unique primary key for this table. And if you don't understand table relationships, you can watch my Access video to learn more about how tables are related. And so that's basically the Autonumber field in Salesforce. It could have 30 character max, so which is bigger than 1 trillion times 1 trillion, and it'll always be unique, and it starts after you create it. And you can also generate and apply to previously existing records if you didn't plan out the table beforehand when you created it. And let's see, the starting number determines what number it starts at after the input mass, so I wrote 40 as the starting number there. And it only, so now I'm just going to go and create another formula, press new, and over here I'm going to do a formula, and I'm going to press next. So formulas let you do like custom functions and formulas, and this one is just going to be like my if function example. So in this one I'm going to do it with a quantity, so I'm just going to do a number with my if function. So I'm going to press next. So I'm going to insert a field. Well, actually I'm going to insert a function over here. I'm going to go through all these functions, and I'm also going to go over all the different types of formulas, the ones that I think are useful. So if you go over here and you double click if, you double click here, and then you click insert field. So I'm in the lead table, obviously. So what's actually cool is see this greater than sign. When I'm in like the contact and account tables later, I actually have lookups installed within them. So you could click on contact and then you could click on account. So you could grab all the fields from account, and you could grab all the fields from contact because they're related tables and they have lookups. So you can grab fields from different tables. And I'll go over table relationships more probably in a later video. But for now I'm just going over all the formulas and functions. And then I'm also going to go over making one table many to many instead of many to one for accounts and contacts, like I explained at the beginning of the video. So if you go to here and you select inventory quantity and click insert, so what this if formula is going to do is if the column inventory quantity, so in leads, let me see, do I have inventory quantity? Let me display that so you can see what kind of field it is. Oh, I have it, yeah, I have it shown over here. So inventory quantity is just like a number, and it's just a random number. So I'm going to say like if the inventory quantity is greater than 5,000, and then for the value if true, you can basically do whatever you want. You could say like you want it to be like 50,000 if it's greater than 5,000. You could put a text value inside of double quotes, so you could be like good if you want it to return good if it's greater than 50,000. Or you can also do additional math, so you could insert another field and say like if the inventory is greater than 50,000, then I want the inventory to be times 0.10 if you want like a discount or something. And then if it's not greater than 50,000, I want like the inventory quantity, like if it's not greater than 5,000, then I want the inventory quantity to be multiplied by like 0.02. So once you finish your formula, the if formula, it's basically the conditional. So it's this column is greater than 5,000, comma, and then this conditional, which, or argument, which checks whether that this is the true. This is if this is true, if inventory quantity underscore C is greater than 5,000, then it returns this true value, inventory quantity times 0.10. So if the inventory quantity over here, since this one isn't greater than 5,000, this one will return the false value, but this one is greater than 5,000, so this 100,000 is greater than 5,000, so it will return the true value. And this is the false value after the second comma. So I'm just going to click check syntax. I guess you can't do multiplication with like decimal points. So I'm going to multiply by 10 if it's greater than 5,000, multiply by 2 if it's not greater than 5,000. So if it's greater than 5,000, it'll become massive, and if it's less than 5,000, I'm actually going to divide it by 2. It'll become smaller if it's not greater than 5,000. Press next, save, and go to the leads page, refresh, and select fields to display. Okay, I'm going to add if function example to my view, and yeah, so this 1,000 is not greater than 5,000, so it divides by 2, and I get 500. This 15,000 is greater than 5,000, so it gives me, it multiplies it by 10, gives me 150,000, and yeah, that was that formula. So now I'm going to create a new formula, and it's going to be another if function. So I'm actually going to explain if in Excel. So I'm going to go to number. No, actually I'm going to go to formula again and press next, and I'm going to do a number. And I'm just going to call this like if f and press next. So I'm going to insert another if here. So I'm going to do if, and then for the logical test I'm going to actually delete that, and then I'm going to select or. So it basically replaces it with multiple logicals in this case for the or, and either of them needs to be true, and then it will return the true value. And then if both of the or are false, then it returns the false value because neither of them are true. But either of them being true or both of them being true returns the true value. So, and this dot dot dot, you just you could have as many logicals as you want. You could have 1, you could have 2, you could have 3. You don't actually end it with the dot dot dot, and you basically end it like this: logical 1, logical 2. So I'll fill out 2 logicals in this case. So it's going to just be so if I'll say if the quantity is greater than 5,000, or let me see, if the state is New York, then I want it to return 1, otherwise I want it to return 0. So the quantity has to be either greater than 5,000 or the state has to be New York, and then it'll return 1. Otherwise it returns 0. So I got no errors. I'm going to press next, next, save, and I'm going to just refresh. And I'm going to add that if over here, press save. So this one, it's in New Jersey and it's 1,000, so it's a 0 because neither of those are true. This one is New York and it's less than 5,000, so it returns a 1 because at least one is true, which is New York. So the OR function, if one of them is true, then it returns a 1. This one is New Jersey, which is in New York, but it's greater than 5,000, so it returns 1. This one, are there any New Yorks that are greater than 5,000? That would also return, yes, that would also return, so this is all the New Yorks are less than 5,000. Yeah, but that's how the OR works. So I'm going to do an AND function, an if-AND function now. So if you go to Formula, next, and I'm just going to do if j, and go to number, and press next. So I'm going to do if, and then for the logical test I'm going to highlight that and then go up to here to AND. I'm going to do an AND, so it does like the same periods thing over here. I'm going to do 3 logicals in this case. So I'm going to do 3 logicals. I'm going to do, so actually I'm just going to do 2. No, I'll do 3 logicals. So let me look for something. So I'm going to do if it's New Jersey and it's equal to 1,000 and the company is A. So if the company equals A and the state equals New Jersey and the inventory quantity equals 1,000, doesn't need double quotes because it's a number, then it's going to return 1, otherwise it's going to return 0. So check the syntax, next, next, and save. And then I'm going to refresh this page, go to select fields to display, and I'll scroll down to this one and add it. So this is if JJJ. So it only returns a 1 if the company is A. So if this one is A, if this is New Jersey, and this is equal to 1,000. So it returns 1 if all 3 are true. All 3 have to be true, and none of them could be false. So that's how the AND works. Unlike the OR, where if any of them are true, it returns the true value. With the AND formula, it needs to all of the logicals need to be true. Otherwise, it returns the false value if not all of them are true. So I introduced if and if and OR, and now I'm going to introduce case. So I'm going to press new and formula, and I'm going to press next, and I'm going to do a text, and I'm going to do, let me just call this like case 111, and I'm going to press next, and I'm going to select case. So how I'm going to fill this out is I'm going to fill out the expression as state, insert. One second, let me send a text. Alright, so case, state, and over here for value 1, I want, so New Jersey, I want to return as just a lot of O's. And then for New York, I want it to return a lot of, so New York is, it's just going to say Yankees. And then I'm just going to put a comma and the word no. So how this works is if the state is New Jersey, then it returns the value O. And if the state is New York, it returns Yankees. Otherwise, if neither of those are true, then it returns no. And basically you can do as many cases as you possibly want. And then like the last comma just returns the false value. So I'm going to click check syntax, next, next, save. I'm going to select the field to display. I'm going to remove some of these fields. And what was I named it case. Save. So, alright, so this one is equal to O because it's New Jersey. This one is equal to Yankees because it's New York. This one isn't New York or New Jersey, so it says no. So that's how the case works. It's like an if statement, except it has like specific values that get assigned based on specific values. So now I'm going to do another formula. I'm going to do a number formula. So formula, next, number. You got the decimal places down here. So I'm going to do this formula is going to be a number formula, and it's going to be with the now function. So I'm just going to call it now function. So I'm going to go over here to now, and over here it has like a little description. You could click this link to go to a Salesforce page that describes each of the functions if you want to read about each of them. But I'm just going to click, double click now and add that to here, and I'm going to press minus, and I'm going to do created date. So I'm going to do insert. So this now function returns a date time representing the current moment, so it returns 12/21/2020 and 5:55 p.m. and then it subtracts from the created date. So the created date is whenever the record was created. So I'm going to press check syntax, next, next, and save. So if you're tracking like dates and times, that's when the now function kind of works. You have to make sure you're like subtracting dates and times from dates and times, and dates from dates, and like you have to do like they have like date time, date value time, and all these different. So I'm going to go to I forgot what this field was called. Oh, it was like now function. Yeah. So how this now function works is basically, so this created date was 12/18/2020, and then now it's 12/21 at 5:57. So this is 3 days and 3.07 days since that created date. And like this one was created on 12/21/2020, so this is 1.31 days since then. So I did a number formula because this the now it returns like an integer. Well, it's not an integer because it has decimal points, but it returns like a number. So that was how you could track how many days it's been since a particular day. And now I'm gonna I guess now I'm going to show you like the day with another, instead of now I'm going to show you the day function. So I'm going to do formula, next, and under, it's going to be number, and I'm going to show you the day function. So this one is, see how you can see all the dates and date times. So I'm going to show you the day function. So the day is based on, I'm going to go to insert fields, I'm going to go to time 000 plus 7. So I'm going to enable time 000 on here. Oh, time 000 is just the day. So I just got the day from today, and it just removes the time from this column. So what the day is going to do here is I'm going to check syntax, next, save. So the day function, I add that over here. So the day function returns 28 for this, it returns 25 for this. Because I add 7 days to whatever the day integer is for this. So that's why this returns 28, this returns 25. So the day basically returns whatever the day is, and I just did math with it. I added 7 to it because you could do math with the days if you want to. So now I'm going to do another formula. I'm going to go to here and I'm going to select new, and I'm going to select formula, next, and I'm going to select date time, and I'm going to show you the ADDMONTHS function. So the ADDMONTHS function, you double click here, and then I'm going to do, I guess, the created day, insert, and then I want 2, so I'm going to add 2 months to the created date. So this is how you can add months to a particular day, and that's what this looks like. Select fields to display, add months. I exceeded the amount of columns. You can only have 15 columns shown at once. So this add months over here, it adds 2 months to this created day. So instead of December 21st, it's February 21st. So that's that one, and it's a date time, so it includes the time at the end, which is 5:38 still. So I had to select date / time because I just add months, and I add months to an already date time because this is the date time over here. So that's why I selected date time instead of number, or instead of, I guess, probably date. So now I'm going to do a date, kind of like this time 00 formula. Like, how do you pull a date from a date time? So I'm going to go to here, press new, and I'm going to select a formula, and go to next, and I'm going to do, it's going to called DateValue function. So for this one, I'm going to select date, because I'm getting a date from a date time. I'm going to press next, and for this one I go to DateValue, and I put in create a date, insert, I'm showing you the DateValue function. So basically the DateValue function. It just returns the created date and then it removes the time, and now I just got the date. So that's how the DateValue function works. Now I'm going to show you a checkbox formula. So I'm going to press new, and I'm going to show you a checkbox within a formula. So I'm going to do formula, and I'm going to do checkbox, and this will be checkbox formula. You could actually do checkboxes off of other checkboxes. So I'm going to press next, and I'm going to do another if, I guess, within the checkbox. So if the inventory quantity is greater than 5,000, then I want the checkbox to be checked, so I just write true. Otherwise I want the checkbox to not be checked, which is false. So I'm going to go to over here and select fields to display. Alright, so it puts a checkbox, and if it's greater than 5,000 it gives me a check, and then if it's not, then it doesn't give me a check. So you can see how there are checks for each of the greater than 5,000 values on this. And yeah, so that's how the checkbox works, and then you could, I guess, sort by that, and then you can see all these values are greater than 5,000. So I'm going to just sort by create date again. So it's, I guess, a quick way to sort by specific criteria if you want to like evaluate stuff. And let me go to here, I'm going to press new, and I'm going to select, I guess, formula, next, and press back. So I'm going to do Picklist Multi-select. So this lets you select only certain values from a list. So I'm going to press next. I'm going to call this Picklist Multi, and I'm going to select enter. So I'm going to put like USD, CAD, and Japanese yen. I'll do alphabetically, and you can put required if you want to make it a required field. So basically, the person that is looking at this this table on leads, they can, for each record, they could click within this column and they could select USD, CAD, or Japanese yen, and they can only select one value. And Picklist Multi is basically the exact same thing as Picklist. So if I go over here to fields to display, and so I had Picklist Multi. So over here I click, and then I could select CAD. I guess you press enter to fully select it, and then you click save when you're done. So this is Picklist Multi, and they actually have an isPickVal function, but that only works with non-Picklist Multis, and non-Picklist Multis does exactly the same thing as Picklist Multi. So now I'm going to show you a geolocation and distance example in formulas. So you can press new, and then go over to geolocation, which is kind of, you're working with latitude and longitude on a map, and you could calculate distance. So I'm going to press next, and I'm going to like name this like geolocation, and so this is, you're basically just creating like a field that lets you input geolocation, and it actually creates two columns. It creates a latitude column and a longitude column. So I'm going to press next. Decimal places, I want like 2 decimal places. I'll press next, next, and save. So what did I just call that? Geolocation or something? So go here, select fields to display, and so now I got geolocation latitude and geolocation longitude. So I'm going to add both of those. So they're actually both blank currently, and I have them so you're not allowed to edit them. So let me go back to geolocation, and I'll do edit, and like for the data owner, I'll assign it to a user. I'll click save, and then let me refresh. And I'll open up this. So over here under like geolocation, which is right here, I could click in and I could say like that's that, and then this is 21.544, and this is like 90.55 or 50.55. Click save. So you can add like the geolocations there, and you could set field level security so only certain people could view where stuff is located. And then also so like with I have like a better example of geolocation. So you go to new and you go to formula and press next, and then for field data poems you can do like distance function geo, and I'm going to go to I guess probably number because it's distance. I'm going to do number because I'm going to do it in miles. I'm going to press next, and here I'm going to do a distance formula. So it's going to be distance, insert, and then for the location I'm going to do I guess geolocation. So I'm going to go to geolocation, and then I'm going to do another geolocation. I'm going to do another geolocation. So I'm just going to do the distance between this place and this place, and you could just go on Google and you could search up latitude, longitudes for certain locations. And I mean, I already did that, so I'm going to look up like geolocation, like California, and then like geolocation like New Jersey, and I'm going to put a single quote around MI for miles. You could do KM for kilometers. I'm going to click check syntax. So I want the distance between this place and this place, latitude and longitude in miles. And then I mean obviously if you create a, like I showed you before, geolocation columns, then you could just track the geolocations in their own columns. And let me go to here and refresh, and then obviously you could track the distance between two locations if you already saved the geolocation column. So now I'm going to go to select field to display, and I'm going to include the distance function geo, so click save. So the distance between California and New Jersey is always the same, 2,421.30 miles. Obviously if I had the columns geolocation, latitude, and longitude, then I could do the distance between a lot of different places. For each of these you could have different places, so you could track the miles distance between all these latitudes and longitudes. And now I'm going to go to new, and I'm going to do a phone. So you could do a phone formula, press next, and I'm just going to call this phone. I'm going to call it phony, and click next, next, and save. And I'm going to go to select field to display, and I'm going to add phony, click save. So here you basically just type in the number. You could add a 1 before it and it automatically masks it to match this with like the whatever, but basically you can click here and it actually initiates a call. I don't actually have dialer for essentials with Salesforce, but you can actually, if you go to setup, I'll show you after this, but you click the number. Oh, the number's not valid. Let me just like make up a real number. So I'm going to click, the number's not valid. Alright, so you click the number and then it actually starts calling. I get an error though, but you could take notes while you're calling and read about the person, and then it actually obviously it logs the call. So if I go over here, I'm going to click discard changes. So it says the call to this person was unsuccessful, but it logs the calls within the account. And then you could also take notes on the call as you're taking it. And I mean, I don't have phones enabled on my Salesforce, but if you go to setup and up here you type manage subscriptions, and then you select subscribe now. And you could click like show more plan details and compare plans. They have something called an add-on called Lightning Dialer, and it's only $5 per month, and it basically allows you to enable the phones and take notes with everything. And you could basically just make calls, and it actually auto connects to the microphone on your computer, so you could just talk to the whoever and just click within the field, so it's effortless to call all the different people, and you don't have to remember all the numbers. And now I'm going to go to encrypted text under object manager. I'm going to go to lead, field and relationships, new, and text encrypted, next, and I'm going to call this encrypted. So for this, you could select a mask type. You can do only the last 4 characters are clear, like if you have a social security number, or you can mask all the numbers if you want confidentiality. And you could do the mask character as stars or X's. And the length, you could do however many characters you want it to be. I'll do like 15. Click next. So it'll automatically like encrypt. And did I do all encrypt? Last 4 characters clear. So I'm going to remove phone and go to encrypt. And let me edit this. I don't know why I can't just edit whatever, but it'll mask like the last 4 So if you go to, so now I'm going to go over a lookup relationship. So over here you go to fields and relationships, new, and lookup relationship. So before I actually go over this, I'm going to go off on a 30 or 10-minute tangent, and I'm gonna, so if you go to inventory, if you go to like your contacts, like I'll explain lookup relationships like this. So you go to your contacts, and over here the contacts is looking up, and it looks up accounts, and then it returns account 1. So you can click here, and this is like the lookup. So on your contacts you could select this lookup of any of these accounts, and it gives you all the accounts there, and you basically start typing, and then it auto fills out, and it, like now I could just select account 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it kind of limits the which you can select the selections based on the characters as you type them, and that's kind of what a lookup is. And the accounts, they could have multiple contacts. The contacts could have a single account currently, and I'm going to actually show you how to do multiple to multiple. And also, I guess let me go to like classic mode to show you kind of what it looks like in classic mode. I'll go to setup, and lead assignment rules. Select edit. So this is what a lookup box looks like in classic mode. So I have a queue over here, which I show in my inventory management video. You can click this checkbox, and right now it just shows inventory 3. But if I type out, like if I remove inventory 3 and I click the magnifying glass for this lookup, these are all the different queues. You have inventory, inventory 2, inventory 3, inventory 4, so you could select any of these, and then now this that's like a lookup on the classic view. So let me switch back to Lightning experience. So I'm going to show you how to associate a single contact with multiple accounts now. So if you go to your contacts page and you click on a contact, right now it has accounts here, but down here it has related accounts. I'm going to show you how to add this here. And then on your accounts page, if you go to your account, your contacts, it has your related contacts here. Normally for you it just says contacts right here, and it'll have all the different contacts, because accounts, they could have many contacts. But the contacts, initially, they could only have one account, but I set it up so that they could have multiple accounts. Right here it just has your single account, which is right there. And then I'm also going to, after I set up the many-to-many relationship between accounts and contacts, so that you can have multiple accounts having multiple contacts, contacts having multiple accounts, I'm going to show you how to do a lookup for a field between two tables. So if you go to setup and click setup and go to account settings, so if you click edit here and you check this box, allow users to relate a contact to multiple accounts, then that lets the contact have multiple accounts associated with it. And you click, you check it and you click save, and then you have these two options appear after you check this box. So now that the contact could have multiple accounts, you can make it so that users can't delete the account, or you can allow users to delete the account, and then it automatically deletes all the contacts even if they're related to other accounts. So since the accounts are the parent account, or the master account to all the contacts, then if you delete a account, then all of the contacts underneath it also get deleted. You could check that if you want, but you could also block users from deleting the account from being deleted, because now the account just can't be deleted because you enabled this setup, and now it's impossible to delete it because they're related. And then when the users replace the primary account on a contact record, you can have these two options, but I'm just going to click save. You only need to check that box, and then it actually will send you an email when this completes. So you can set this up like right away once you start. It'll say like in progress for enabling contacts to multiple accounts for you or whatever. So then you go to over here, you type in platform sales. No. Oh, so yeah, so you go over to here and you select activity. Yeah, so you go to activity settings under here, and under roll up activities to my contacts primary account, you can disable this and click submit. So instead of the activities just getting related to the primary account for contacts, I guess it'll probably get associated with all the accounts in that case. I really don't know what that does. I mean, it either, I mean, for contacts, this one is related to account 1 and account 2. So let me do some activity on it. I'm going to log a call. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. And I mean, this main account is account 1, so let's click save. And let's go to, it's also related to account 2, so let's see what account 2 says now. So it logged that. Contacts, go to account and account 1. Maybe, I guess, send an email from a contact. BBB contact. Well, yeah, email to subject be like that. I'll click send. So go to accounts, account 1. So that's in log. Go to contacts and email. I don't know if I like that setting. So I'm gonna go to activity settings, roll up activities to contacts primary account. Let me check that again. Click submit. And I'm going to go to contacts and this person, so I'm going to go to email to gmail.com, subject send, so I guess the activities don't work properly when you do like the many-to-many for the accounts and contacts. Let me see if you can actually like But yeah, I mean, I'll show you how to do the many-to-many for the accounts and the contacts right now, and then I'm going to try to see if I could fix the activity for it too. So if you go to your object manager and you select, right now I'm going to show you how to make how to adjust your account page to have the related contacts, and to how to adjust your contacts tab to have your related to have a relationship with many accounts. So over here you go to setup and you select setup, and then you go to object manager here, and then you select under contact, you go to page layouts and you select your contact layout, and you go over here to, oh, I selected the wrong one, related list, and then you drag down related accounts to here. You have like related accounts up here, you drag it down and you put it under related lists, and then you basically press this wrench here and you add direct. You'll have direct here, and then you click add and press OK, and then you click save up here, which will save your page layout for your contacts tab. But the contacts tab still won't have the related accounts. I'll show you what to do after you do that. You have to do another thing. So now you go to object manager and you go to account, page layouts, account layout, and related lists, and then you drag related contacts down here and you select the minus next to contacts, which deletes it, and then you could add that back later just by dragging contacts down. See, here's contacts right here. I can put contacts back, but I'm just going to do related accounts, and you drag the related accounts down, and then you go to object manager. Well, you click save and then you go to object manager and you go to contact, lightning record pages, contact record page, and you select edit. So this brings up the Lightning app builder, and over here you can scroll down here and you basically drag related lists over here. So you drag this over to here, and then it'll have the related accounts, because you dragged related accounts under related lists on your whatever page I was just showing you, where you deleted like related accounts or contacts. And you basically drag related lists here, so it has all the related lists there, and then up here you click save, and then you select pages and you switch over to your account record page instead of your contact record page, and you click contacts, and now like obviously the contacts aren't there anymore because you deleted contact from your account page layout. And now you're going to drag over related lists, and then it has all the contacts, related contacts for your account. So now you click save up here, and your account page and your contact page will both have the related accounts and the related contacts on each of them. And I mean, if you go to, I guess, your contacts, you could click add relationship, and then you could select however many accounts you want it to be related with, and you could actually give additional roles to each of the accounts and press whatever, and then you have multiple accounts associated with multiple contacts now. And I mean, the activity, Yeah, I don't know why the activity is not updating. I mean, I'll try to figure that out in another video. And then, I mean, if you go to, I'll show you how to make a lookup field now. So if you go over here to, like, I guess should I go on my leads page? I'm going to go on my object manager, and I'm going to go to my contacts page for this formula. Fields and relationships, new, and I'm going to do formula, next. Oh no, not a formula. I'm going to do a lookup relationship and press next, and it's going to be related to account. So I'm going to press next. So this field is just going to be called like account emergency, and the child relationship name is going to be, I guess, contacts1, and I'm going to press next and next. And this will be the name, I guess, probably on the accounts page. So I'm going to press save. So now that I added that, if I click refresh on my contacts page, I have accounts emergency over here. So I click here, and it looks up all the accounts. I click save. So my BBBs associated with account 2 with that lookup, and then if I go to accounts and select account 2, and then under there's no associated field with contacts because I created the lookup field on contacts. But if you go to your contacts, it actually, if you scroll down to the bottom, you have contacts count emergency down here. So it shows up here. So now, if you create a lookup field, it actually shows up on under the related list under the accounts without you having to do anything. So you could create a lookup field, and then you could basically just automatically add additional information to your accounts page that way. If you need to just, I guess, whatever, for any reason you need to add a certain category or extra information about an account. So I guess now I'm going to go back to formulas, and I'm going to go over here to Object Manager, and I'm going to select probably, I guess, account. And now I'm going to select contacts, fields and relationships, new, and I'm going to do a formula, and so I'm going to do a formula, and this time I'm going to do another checkbox. I'm going to call this like checkbox. Okay. Press next. And for this one, I'm going to do a today formula. So today returns the current day. You insert it. And I'm going to do today less than, I'm going to do a date formula too. Double click date. And then for that, I'm just going to you can put like a static thing. Unless, of course, you have different columns for year, month, and day, and a static month, and a static day. So this checkbox is, so my checkbox is not going to be filled because today is the 21st. It is not Christmas, so it's not going to be filled. And basically you'll sign in every day and you'll just see a column of checkboxes that aren't checked. And then, I mean, once it actually is Christmas, and you could put like equals Christmas, then the checkboxes will be checked. So I guess it's a quick way to have like a field, I guess, be marked off, be checked off if based on a certain day. So let me go to my contacts. And what was the checkbox? Press save. Oh, so I had today is less than Christmas, so it checks it. So I'll go over here to checkbox and I'll click edit. So I'll edit the formula. So since it was less than Christmas, it was true, but now I'll see if it's greater than Christmas. I'll click save. And now go to contact and refresh. Let me click refresh again. Edit. I'm editing checkbox 44 instead of checkbox. Checkbox edit. So I'll make checkbox. So it was still true because it was still less than Christmas. So now let me refresh, and checkbox is now not checked because it's obviously the 21st isn't greater than Christmas. You could actually build a checkbox that is true based on another checkbox. So I'm going to do new, and I'm going to do a formula, next, and checkbox. And this would be like auto check, and press next. So it's kind of like a Boolean. So I mean, it's kind of pointless. I mean, but no, it's not pointless because you could like do calculations based on if something else is true. So you could do like, let me go over here to if, and if logical test, I'll do if checkbox or checkbox equals false, then I want this one. So if that's not checked, then I want this to be checked. Otherwise, I don't want it to be checked. So I'll click next. And let me add that field. So this one is checked if this one isn't checked. So that's how you can do like an if statement with another checkbox checked. So it's like Boolean and like switching. So what is cool is when you're, yeah, so I mean, I guess I'll show like a new and formula. Next, number, and I'll just call this whatever because I'm just not even going to show a formula real quick. So I guess I'm going to go to like insert fields. What's cool about contact, since now I created a lookup for account, when I click on account, it actually shows me all the account fields now too because it has that greater than sign. So I mean, that's cool with formulas. And I mean, I'll show you, I guess, the subs. And the last formula that I'll show you is the substitute formula. So if we go to contact and field and relationships and go to new and formula, next, and text. I'll do like a substitute, press next, and basically how this works is to function, click here, and the old text will just be the title. So I'll go over here to title, insert. So I'm going to do it based on this title. So if it has the word manager in it, so then old text, if it has the word manager in it, I want that to be replaced as not. And then I'll click check syntax, next, next, save, refresh, and we just select fields to display, and I'll look for a substitute. There we go, next, save. So wherever it says manager, you just put the word not. So that's how the substitute works. And then if you go to new and formula, press next, and you do text, and you just say like mid, next. So Salesforce also has the right function, it has the left function. I'm not even going to review these. It has the mid function, they're all very important, and it has the len function, and it also has the find function, which is basically the Excel search function. Find returns a number, mid returns the characters from a certain starting point, left returns characters from the left up to a certain number, right returns certain characters from the right up to a certain number, len returns however many characters are in a word, and find returns where a character starts after a certain starting point. So you can find the same character a second time if you select a starting point that's after or equal to the first character. And if you want to learn how to reformat a lot of different columns, text, dates, words, and basically any type of data, then you can figure out how to use those functions in my YouTube video right here, Convert British to US Dates. And thank you for watching my video.